Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I am racing against the clock today because British winter is never on my side and it's getting very dark in here already in my bedroom, and I film with all natural lighting. I have yet to get fancy equipment and I was very undecisive on what I wanted to film today, so what's quick to film that won't take very long so I can beat the setting sun at 1:30. And that's the rapid fire book tag. So it's going to be a very short video, but I hope you enjoy it nevertheless and get to know me a bit better. So here goes nothing. I'm going to try and do it as quickly as possible and not ramble. So let's just get into the questions. The first question is ebook or physical book, and I have to go with physical. I do read both formats. The only format of book I don't tend to read is audiobooks, just because I find myself getting very distracted when reading them and I just don't grasp the whole story when I read audiobooks. So I only ever read ebooks or physical, but near the end of the year I have been gravitating only towards physical books. I just love the feel of turning pages and seeing your actual progression as you move your bookmark along day to day. Fucking love physical books and they just look so pretty on your bookshelf. The next one is paperbacks or hardbacks, and purely out of not burning a hole in my pocket every single time I buy books, I buy paperbacks mainly. But if I'm really anticipating a release and it's being published as a hardback first, I will buy the hardback, much more of a paperback buyer. That is a sentence, try saying that 5 times. As you can see, like all of them are the same height and they just look beautiful all next to each other because they are the same height. So yeah, paperbacks all the way, but I will buy hardbacks from time to time. Online or in-store book shopping, and I think I might be one of the very few people who actually prefer online book shopping. Obviously this year has been very different to most years and I do love going inside a bookshop, but obviously online is cheaper, and 2, I just feel with online it's less pressure, and when I'm in a bookstore I feel very overwhelmed, whereas online I have my book wish list and I have Goodreads and I have everything to hand that I can just buy books really quickly. And there are some great book shopping sites such as bookshop.org, where it's a database full of indie bookstores have come together and created this massive website so you can support local indie bookstores from the comfort of your own home, which I think is great for 2020 because Corona. But yeah, I think even not having Corona, I'm much more of an online book shopper because it's more convenient. I do love walking around a bookstore, but only if it's like a really big one, like a flagship of Waterstones that's in Piccadilly. I love that bookstore, and I love Foyles in Charing Cross. It's just convenience really, but I do love browsing a bookstore, but I prefer buying books online. There you go, that's my answer. Trilogies or series? I am not one to read either, but when it comes to feeling accomplished when finishing a book, I would say trilogy because there are less books in the series and therefore you can feel accomplished quicker. This year I did start reading the Immortal Instruments series by Sandra, Clare. There you go, got it out eventually. And it's just so daunting. I've read 3 books out of like 50 that she's released and I can't be bothered anymore. There's just too many books in the series. The only reason I read some series is because obviously I read the first one and I want to know the rest of the story, or the books in that series haven't all been released yet. But if the series has been completed, it's rare that I will read more than trilogies. To be honest, I'm much more of a standalone person anyway. Heroes or villains? I'm much more of a hero person. I have a soft heart. I can't deal with all the villains in stories. I think they're great characters and they can be written really well, but they make me want to throw the book across the room, and I read for pleasure and I just want nice cinnamon roll type characters in my books, so definitely heroes. A book you want everyone to read. Hands down in 2020, you all need to read All Boys Aren't Blue by George M. Johnson. Please, now, go get it. You won't regret it. It's so good. So good. It's a YA memoir by George M. Johnson from growing up from when he's 5 years old to when he goes off to university, about growing up being black and queer in a minority community. So good. Recommend an underrated book. Underrated book. Underrated book. Underrated book. I'm gonna go for maybe not one that people expect, and I'm gonna go for Half a World Away by Gale. This is the only book I've read by this author, and I think it was it's one of those books where you read it and you're like, oh, that was good. And then it leaves you thinking for ages. Like, I still think about this book, and I read it back in like June or July, maybe even May. It's way back early summer, and I still think about it. And it basically talks about the idea of fostering and adoption, and two siblings who don't know each other exist, and then they kind of start to integrate themselves into each other's lives. And it's just such a wholesome book, and it makes me want to reread it just talking about it. I think it's a very underrated book, and not a lot of people may know about this author or this book, and I do recommend you go check it out if it sounds interesting to you. I'll just read the synopsis really quickly so you can get a more well-versed idea about what it's about. Strangers are living worlds apart, but it wasn't always that way. Kerry Hayes is a single mum living on a tough South London estate. She provides for her son by cleaning houses she could never afford. Taken into care as a child, Kerry cannot forget her past. Noah is a successful barrister with a beautiful wife, daughter and a home in a fashionable Primrose Hill. Adopted as a young child, Noah never looks back. When Kerry contacts Noah, the sibling she lost on the day they were torn apart as children, she sets into motion a chain of events that will change both their lives forever. Oh, I don't know how to describe it. It's just really, really good. I just really, really enjoyed it, and I think it's not spoken about enough when it hits a really serious, important topic. I highly recommend it. Same city, different streets, same mother, different lives. If that doesn't take you or pull at your heartstrings already, I don't know what does. Yeah, highly recommend this book. I've been rambling too much, seeing as this is the rapid fire book tag. The last book you finished, I actually finished it a couple of hours ago, and that's 7 Days of Us by Francesca Hornak. This was another interesting book. How I don't really know how to feel about it. I gave it an initial 3 stars. It's about a family who have to isolate together at Christmas because their eldest daughter, so the family consists of mother, father, eldest daughter, youngest daughter, and the eldest daughter, Olivia, has just come back from Liberia, helping kind of treat a deadly virus called HAG, and she has to come back to the UK for Christmas, and she has to isolate with the rest of her family to make sure she doesn't have this virus. It's very close to home, obviously being in the world we are at the minute, but it didn't feel close to home because it's about a completely different virus. It's more Ebola-esque, and it was written actually in 2017, which I didn't realise. I just think it's getting hype at the minute because of our current world climate. I enjoyed it. I really, really enjoyed the writing style, so I'll be interested if Francesca writes any more books. And I did enjoy the characters. It wasn't an amazing book, if you get what I mean. Like, it was a good book. There's a lot of twists and turns, a lot of drama that ensued in this 7-day isolation around Christmas. It wasn't very Christmassy. You could read this book any time of the year. I thought it was going to be more Christmassy, but it didn't really hit on Christmas whatsoever. It was definitely more about family dynamic and dealing with different problems that come their way and are faced. There's some secrets that have yet to be told, and they all kind of come out in that 7 days. And yeah, it was an enjoyable read, but nothing really fancy. The last book I brought. To be honest, the last books I brought were part of my Come Book Shopping video Christmas edition, which I'll link up above and down below for you guys. And one of those books in that video was 7 Days of Us. The weirdest thing you've used as a bookmark. I used to use Post-it notes. Way back when I started reading, I didn't own any bookmarks, so I would use those like fat Post-it notes, not the square ones, but like the fat stripped ones, because I would just finish a book anywhere, whereas now I have to get to the end of a chapter or end of like a page break or whatever, whereas back then I would just stop reading anywhere. So having that little tabbed kind of Post-it note, I could literally put the bookmark anywhere in the book, so I knew when returning to the book that I was like this far down the page or on this sentence or whatever. So I used to use Post-it notes, but I think that's the weirdest one. I haven't used like a plane ticket or a cat or a cup of coffee. Like, I'm not that strange. I hope not anyway. But yeah, I think a Post-it note is my weirdest thing I've used as a bookmark. Next question is used books, yes or no? And definitely yes, I just don't kind of gravitate towards them very often. This year, once again, hasn't helped because I haven't been able to go into charity stores and look, or all that sort of thing. I'm very picky, like, you know, some used books can have that really horrible like texture or smell. I just don't like that. It kind of puts me off. So I do prefer brand new, fresh books that are just mine. I like building up my book collection, so having new books that are just mine and haven't had any previous owners is quite nice, to be fair. But I know obviously a lot of people are different and use libraries and all that, and I 100% am all for it. It's just personal opinion. I don't read used books that often, but I'm never against them. If they come into my life, I wouldn't like turn them away. Top 3 genres. Contemporary, contemporary, contemporary. I do read other genres, but I don't have a 3 favourite genres. I just kind of dip my toe into lots of different genres and then find favourite books within those genres. I do mainly read contemporary, adult, YA. So I guess you could say adult, YA and contemporary as my 3 favourites. We'll go with it. Borrow or buy, and obviously reiterating on the fact that I don't tend to use used books very often, I do buy a lot of my books. I just feel like when I want to build my book collection, I can justify having my own books and buying my own books because I'm going to be keeping them for a long time. So yeah, I buy books. There's nothing wrong with that. We're all on BookTube. We all buy books. Characters or plot? Hands down, characters, 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 characters. Characters. If I couldn't, even just talking about the 3 books I've mentioned today, All Boys Aren't Blue is a character-driven book because it's a non-fiction memoir. There's not really any plot, it's just about George M. Johnson's life as a person. This is about a family not really having any plot. They stay in the same house, they don't go anywhere, they're all in isolation. It's just about different characters' drama and previous lives all kind of interlinking and intertwining. It's all character-based. And this is about long-lost siblings, not really any plot, all set in London, just about discovering each other, all about characters. I'm very much a character-driven person. The plot can be so mundane. As long as there's good characters, I will enjoy a book. Long books or short books? Short books. However, I did recently read Dear Martin. That's not Dear Martin, that's just a red book. I did, however, recently read Dear Martin by Nick Stone, and this is only a 200-page book, and although it was a decent read, I just felt it was so short and just felt like it needed another like 100 pages for me to feel interested in the characters, for me to feel like I'd got somewhere in the book. Literally, I started it and then I'd finished it and I didn't kind of know what had happened. It just felt so rushed. So short books to an extent, but like a 300 to 400 page book is like my perfect amount. Long or short chapters? Short chapters, because you read a book quicker, whether you want to admit it or not. Knowing that the chapter ends 2 pages from where you currently are makes you want to read that chapter, and then when that next chapter is only like 1 page, you want to read that next chapter, and then when that chapter's only, the next chapter's only a paragraph, you want to read that next chapter. Whereas if you like get to the end of a chapter, you're like, yes, I finished another chapter, and then you like, you know how you all do, you're like, right, when's the next chapter, and you start counting all the pages. And you're like, you're going on for like 30 plus pages, you're like, Jesus, I can't bother to read that right now, and you put the book down and it takes you longer to get through it. Short chapters for the win. Name the first 3 books you think of. The Kiss of Deception, All Boys Aren't Blue, and Heartstopper by Alice Oseman. 3 of my favourite books, to be honest. I love Heartstopper, the series is brilliant. Kiss of Deception series is one of my favourite non-contemporary series of all time. It's fantasy. And what else did I say? Oh, All Boys Aren't Blue, because that is literally my favourite book of 2020. Book that made you laugh or cry. A book that made me laugh or cry. I don't tend to cry in books, as if you've been here a while, you know that. I don't tend to really cry with books. Book that made me laugh. Oh, I know what book made me laugh. Head Over Heels made me laugh a lot. This is a rom-com gymnastics-based book, and it's just brilliant about 2 coaches who are coaching a next Olympian champion, and they get together and fall in love, and it's brilliant. And it was a very kind of like rom-com style book. Thoroughly enjoyed it, and it did make me laugh out loud. Our world or fictional world? And if you couldn't tell by the books I've mentioned in today's video, our world. I don't like having to try and think of worlds that authors have created, like trying to think of all their descriptions and their like fantasy made up worlds can confuse me at times. Some makes me sound stupid, but it is what it is. I much rather just be able to be like, oh yeah, they're at Starbucks, and then I can just relate to a Starbucks near me, or oh yeah, they're at Green Park in London. Oh okay, I know where that is, I can picture it. It just enables me to picture books better and give me a more well-rounded reading experience. Is audiobooks, yes or no? Currently no, but I do read audiobooks when I'm in the mood for them, but currently for the last couple of months I haven't been vibing with them, so a no. Do you ever judge a book by its cover? 100%, we all do, we can't deny it. If a book is prettier, we're more inclined to click on that picture on Goodreads, read what it's about and add it to our TBR. Book to movie adaptations or book to TV? Book to TV, because you can get more of the story and characters in hour-long episodes for like 10 episodes or whatever, rather than like a 2-hour film. A movie or TV show you preferred to its book. Every Day by David Levithan. I watched this book in preparation for a reading challenge for a readathon not too long ago, and it was to watch the film before you read the book. So I watched the film with my boyfriend, absolutely loved the film. It was such an interesting concept. It's about a person who wakes up in a different body every day. And then I read the book and it was so lackluster, and I just had so many questions that weren't answered, and it was just so bad, and the film was so much better. So yeah. Series or standalones? Standalones. And that is the end of the tag. It only took me 20 minutes to film. I thought it was going to be a quick like 10-minute kind of yes or no answers, but we got into some interesting topics. So let me know your answers to any of these questions down below. I'll be really interested to know. And if you haven't done this video and you want to be tagged, because I wasn't tagged by anyone, I tag you. So if you like this video, make sure you give it a massive thumbs up, subscribe down below to see more content from me, and check out the description box for all the books I've mentioned in today's video, as well as my social media links. And without further ado, I will see you in my next video. Bye guys.